Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Obsessive Compulsive Gaming. I am the Obsessive Compulsive Gamer, and this is my review for Dead Rising, a game that originally came out for the Xbox 360, back in the day, let's say. But the version I am reviewing for you good people here today is the PlayStation 4 version, which I have often commented on, is the one and only true console system in the world, well, and the PlayStation 3, and the PlayStation 2 as well. Oh, and there was the original PlayStation. In fact, one might have said about me based on my previous reviews that I've been sucking the PlayStation's penis for so long that my mouth is quite full of pixels. So anyway, Dead Rising. So what is Dead Rising? It is a game from Capcom, who, the more learned among you will remember, also released the Resident Evil series of video games, which also has zombies in them. But unlike the Resident Evil series, which I enjoy very much, the original Dead Rising, I think, is a bit of a dinosaur. And no, by that I do not mean that I think it's some kind of T-Rex. Though that would be a very interesting game to play. No, I think it's a game of its time on the far inferior Xbox 360, which was inferior to the PlayStation 3, which was available at the time. But that's enough of my love for the PlayStation. So, Dead Rising, we play as some wanker, photojournalist called Frank West. You can see how I would get the two confused, wanker, Frank West. And basically, we arrive at this mall where there has been a zombie outbreak, and we are trying to piece together what exactly has happened. With nothing but our trusty camera, some witty remarks, and whatever is to hand to assist us get through this nightmare. Try and survive for 3 days, then get up to the helipad and get rescued. That is, unless, of course, you're going to go for the true ending, in which you have to go through a lot of hullabaloo, and it is, frankly, not worth it, because it just adds more time to the game, and that's less time that you could be masturbating. Reading. Less time that you could be reading. Good book. Highly recommend it. So, what else can I tell you about the game? Well, not a hellish much. Basically, what you go through in the game are things called cases, and that stands for, you know, your basic levels, progression. So you'll complete a case, let's say case 1, then there'll be a period of time you've got to wait around, and then case 2 will start. Though I must admit, I did not realize that in the spare time that you have waiting for the next case to start, that you're supposed to go off and do side quests, or kill zombies, or twiddle your thumbs. No, rather, what I chose to do during those moments of waiting for the next case to start was simply to masturbate. Read. I read a good book. In fact, I read so much that my wrists are both broken, and I appear to have developed an unsightly growth on both of my hands. But the less said about that, the better. So yes, we basically go through the game, fight zombies, complete these cases. Occasionally there'll be a boss fight against something called a psychopath. And that's pretty much the nuts and bollocks of the game. Nuts and bolts of the game. That would be a very different game if it was nuts and bollocks. I imagine Ratchet and Clank would be a completely different series of games altogether. So, now that I've given you my usual drivel, the usual parade of sex jokes and profanity, I will now give you my score. So, I'm going to give the first Dead Rising 6. 0.3. 0.4. 0.1. 0.2. 0.3 out of 10. Though I will say, in defense of the Dead Rising series, that this is by far the weakest entry in the series. And perhaps if I decide to review the next one, I'll have some better, more positive things to say. Hopefully there won't be too much masturbating when I review them. Reading. There won't be too much reading when I review the next game. So until then, if you liked this review, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me the middle finger. Perhaps leave some abuse for me in my comments section. And as always, remember, stay obsessed with with gaming. Stay obsessed with gaming. Yes. Dead Rising, indeed. Reminds me of what I used to say when I used to get an erection back in the old days. I would say to myself, boy, it's rather like the dead rising. Because it never used to move at all. My penis, I'm talking about my penis. So, there you have it. Managed to slip a penis joke in there somewhere. One of many. Too many, one might argue, but